Hello friend, how you doing? What is the Great Reset? Well, there's many things to this. I'm just going to touch on one aspect, okay? Um, our minds can command an action in computer technology, and it's already being done with test markets. Now, of course, with this, many authorities will be able to read our minds. That's just the way this works. Now, Elon Musk wants to combine this Neuralink, I don't know if I'm even pronouncing that right, to Twitter, okay? So, a few people have already tweeted through thoughts. You might be saying, no way. Yeah, it's already happened. They've already done test markets on this. And yes, it's out in the open, and yes, it's in mainstream news. Um, I never thought that I would see all this before the rapture. I never even possibly imagined this. But for some reason, God wanted me in this particular time frame, so I have to respect that. I have to respect the sovereignty of God. Okay, the WHO, the World Health Organization, wants to have this vote to control everybody's health in Geneva, but it won't take effect till November. Thank God for that. Thank the good Lord for that. I kind of think we're going to be raptured by then. But, it's funny because they did all this without a formalized law, okay? For the past 2 years, most of the world has been locked down, and there wasn't even a formalized legislation. Now they want to formalize everything, into law. So just think about that. Now, our Congress approved $40 billion to help Ukraine. So this is just going to prolong the war. And like I said in previous videos, it's really not going to matter whether Russia wins this war or loses this war. Because if they win it, they one more notch. They're going to just do Ezekiel 38. If they lose it, they're going to be furious. The bear is going to be angry, and they're going to invade Israel with other countries. That's Ezekiel 38, the battle of Gog and Magog. It doesn't really matter what the outcome of this war is. I don't know of any. I haven't talked to anybody that knows what the outcome is going to be. I am surprised that Ukraine's putting up such a huge fight on this. I would not have predicted that, but that is the reality of the situation. But China is doing military exercises. This is a different subject. China is doing military exercises on Taiwan every day, not every week, but every day. So as you can see, that whole region is very, very serious about World War III. Now our leader over here made it clear that Jerusalem belongs to the Muslims. He's already stated that. I think we're also being distracted with this Roe versus Wade case. And that, yes, it's a very important issue. I'm not going to say it's not an important issue, but I'm talking about the distraction part, if you know what I mean. I think the sanctified skepticism in me is kind of looking at end-time Bible prophecy and seeing how everybody's being diverted to that and away from this Middle East conflict. And perhaps it was planned. I don't really know. But maybe you feel the same way, maybe you don't. Not really sure, but to go on to the next subject, there is a new app out, and the whole idea is embedding a microchip into a person's hand. Now that's straight out of Revelation chapter 13. This app is called Wrist. Now it's the same old story. This is primarily for buying and selling, but right now it's not so much selling as much as it's buying. But this chip is very light. It's pretty much the size of a grain of rice. It is a microchip and an antenna all in one. And it cost about $300. But remember, I went over what they're doing in Whole Foods at Texas. And it's the same principle and it's the same reality. Now, of course, they are selling this because Americans are illiterate when it comes to the Bible. In fact, the whole world is. Now, granted, this right now can only be used where contactless payments are accepted. You can't just go anywhere and use this. But this is really where it gets really interesting. There's no need for a battery or a power source. Now they only sold about 500 microchips, but it's gaining ground, and it's remarkable because those surveys said that over 50% would be okay with a chip in their body. This is how much human beings have already been conditioned for this. Once again, they're either illiterate when it comes to the Bible, or they just don't care, or maybe it's a little bit of both. I don't really know. In Sweden, tens of thousands already are microchipped. And the irony is, it was this country back in the 1600s that was the first nation to issue notes and coins. So look at that. Look at the situation there. And right now, they only have about 1% of cash and coins flowing in that country. So it's almost all digital over there, and they have an aversion to cash. They don't like it. And this is taken off in the whole world. It's catching on very, very, very fast. Now a lot of places are insisting on taking this to the next level, mixing the digital with the human body. That's straight out of Revelation chapter 13. I was really surprised, but so many people want to give up privacy for convenience, but I really shouldn't be, because convenience has become our new god. In Revelation chapter 13, I just want to go forward, because what we're seeing now in current events is matching Revelation chapter 13. In Revelation chapter 13, when people take the mark of the beast, they have to give religious allegiance to the Antichrist. Now it's voluntary, but there's going to come a day very soon when it's going to be mandatory. Look how fast they're pushing this. Something biblical would have to be taking place, especially with end-time Bible prophecy, because the blood moons took place one day after Israel's anniversary. God, I still say, according to the Bible, God is in perfect control. He really is. And I'm looking at that whole Middle Eastern situation, and Russia is still insisting on telling their allies to dump the dollar and to dump the euro. They do not want to participate in this anymore. war is brewing. The only person holding everything back is the restraining power of the Holy Spirit. Now, when that happens, the church is raptured right at that very moment. And I think we all have to ask ourselves a fundamental question. Are we going up? It's a pivotal question. This is for our eternity. So I just tell people anymore, I give them the gospel, even if I don't feel comfortable, because God's not interested in my comfort. He's interested in my obedience. So people will get angry with you, they'll betray you, they'll turn on you, they'll give you a nasty response, but keep being persistent and hold your ground, and do it in love, but the urgency of the hour is here. And I even know Christians that were watchers for 15 years, and they're asking themselves the question, are we really in the last moments of the church age? So there's this doubt. But, friend, if you look at the facts, how can we doubt? I don't see how we can. So, all right, friend, listen, I'll talk to you next time. Keep looking up.